Would you believe me if I told you that immigration arrests are hurting California's workforce about as much as the beginning of the Great Recession in 2008? That's exactly what is going on, according to a new report out of UC Merced. I'm Gustavo Solis, and this is the Border Brief. Now, this is the first report that examines the economic impact of the Trump administration's mass deportation campaign. It relies on monthly surveys from the U.S. Census Bureau to tell us how many people showed up to work in a specific week. And anyone can download the data from this website. But it's massive, so much so that it almost crashed my computer. So instead of doing this myself, I talked to Edward Flores. He runs UC Merced's Community and Labor Center. And he told me that the survey could not have come at a better time.
In June, it just so happens that the current population survey was being collected the week after the escalation in immigration enforcement actions in California.
The results show a 3.1% drop in the number of people reporting to work in California during that week.
So in California, this translates into roughly 465,000 fewer Californians reporting having worked during the week of escalated immigration enforcement.
That's comparable to the first month of the Great Recession of 2008, when California saw a 3% drop according to the report. One of the most interesting things about this report is that it contradicts talking points about immigrants taking jobs away from Americans. The data show that when ICE arrests immigrants, the entire workforce, citizens and non-citizens, lose work. Edward told me that this plays out in all sorts of ways. If just one piece of the supply chain is reliant on immigrant labor, like farm workers for instance, removing that piece creates a domino effect on the entire system.
If crops are not being harvested, they're not being transported, they're not being stored, they're not being sold.
Immigrants being too afraid to shop. What happens to the stores that rely on immigrant customers?
A manager could tell their employees not to come into work because there's not enough work.
Or Americans who need someone to watch their kid while they work. The daycare industry is very reliant on immigrant labor.
If they cannot care for children or elderly persons so that others can work, then those people have to return from the labor market into their homes to do those caregiving activities.
Edward told me this is just the first report of an ongoing project. He plans to look at these surveys over the next few months to get a clearer picture of what's going on. Thank you for watching. I'm Gustavo Solis, and this is the Border Brief.